So there's lots of different ways that you can use a weapon. But the thing that concerns me is that because the US policy is so black and white as it's fed to the American population, it's that much more inviting for one of these other countries to use a nuclear weapon in a specific way to create chaos, to create a lack of clear acquisition. For example, if a small Russian nuke, which lives in Belarus, because Russia puts their nukes in Belarus, finds its way into Kiev and explodes in the back of a truck, who do you blame? Does the US blame Russia? Does the US blame Belarus? Does Russia take responsibility for it? Does Europe say that it's an attack from the Russians? What do you say? Because now you just had a nuke go off and the world's confused. And the same thing happens if China uses a tactical nuke to destroy in the ocean, in the South China Seas. If China uses a tactical nuke to blow up 5 Filipino ships, what is that? It was a small nuclear device that was used in a littoral situation that was only attacking, military forces that were quote unquote violating some sort of free space. What do you do there? That's not when you launch ICBMs. So what do you do?
What happens there, Annie?
That's the nightmare situation. I mean, attribution, or rather non-attribution of a nuclear weapon.
Figuring out where it came from.
Yes, when you don't, because if a strategic nuclear weapon is launched, an ICBM, we, the United States, knows precisely where it came from because we see it from our satellite systems in space in the first second after launch. So that is the fundamental of deterrence. Not only can you not launch at us, but we will know in 1 second and we will be back at you before yours even get to us. That's how that works. But what Andrew is saying is deeply troubling. And another reason to our conversation about why Iran should not have the bomb, or anyone for that matter, it's dangerous enough that you have 9 nuclear-armed nations who could, as you say, someone in Belarus could wind up with something. That's incredibly dangerous, but you do not want anyone else into this mix.
Including non-state actors, which would be Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis if you're Israel. The concern is not so much that Iran will use it, but Iran will provide it to a non-state entity that is not bound by any international law or rules of warfare. And Iran can claim deniability.
And that's why President Trump bombed that's why.
So imagine Israel is one of the 9.
Yeah.
One of the 9 nuclear capable countries. Imagine this Mossad that is absolutely capable of incurring across Iranian borders, smuggle in a 50-pound tactical nuke. And they take it and they put it inside one of the testing ranges, or they put it inside one of the facilities inside Iran. And then they put it on a timed detonator, and 13 hours later, it goes off. There's a nuclear explosion underground in Iran, in an Iranian facility. That we, in this simulation, we know it's triggered by Israeli covert action. But the whole world sees an explosion go off in Iran. So now the president wonders, did they just run a nuclear test? Iran raises their hand and say, we did not run a nuclear test. Somebody put a nuclear weapon in our territory. Who believes who? Right? What does Saudi Arabia believe?